Katina is a great app. Its founder, he's a very close friend um, to me. Um, the Katina app, they started a way to, Katina is about patristics and about getting um, commentary on the Bible from the church fathers. And so the idea is that you can click on any verse and you can see what the church fathers say on that verse. And they came up with this great idea that sometimes people don't want to read commentary, they would rather hear commentary. And so they asked a few people, and they found a lot of good Orthodox Bible studies, a lot by His Grace Bishop Yusuf, and a lot by many others. And what they did is they parsed those videos so that if there's a verse of particular interest to you, you can jump to that part of the Bible study to hear the explanation. And so they asked me to record a few Bible studies for them, and it was a great blessing, and I learned a lot. It was a great opportunity to go through all the patristics that were in Katina, and so I would read all of those patristic and all those commentaries, and then sort of present them back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is really fascinating and so easy to use and accessible. Just being able to click on a verse and see all these commentaries, it's really phenomenal. I'm personally, just some feedback now for whoever's listening, I'm not really a big fan of the video thing.
Yeah, they kind of cut the video thing, or they stopped promoting it as much. I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
received that feedback as well.
Because unless someone's doing a targeted video like you were recording, it's a little more rare that a sermon, unless it was a Bible study on actual verses, to be so specific.
So they did try to focus on Bible studies, so it would be verse by verse, interpretation.
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah. So you were involved in that. Are you aware of any other projects that are using technology or apps?
So I think a lot of I think I've heard of a lot of things and a lot of developments, but I think there's definitely a great role of technology in the church. For instance, I'm sitting in a studio in our church right now, and this was put together by many of the youth in our church, and so getting them to use technology in drama and in podcasts. There was a group that was doing there's many ways to use technology to
Right.
promote the gospel.
Yeah.
There's many ways to use technology to promote the gospel. So
Do you think technology could be used in a bad way? For example, if I was running a business, I think the church model would be so inefficient. If I had an employee sending 30 to 40 personalized texts, I can only imagine how long that took. Whereas you could probably download some software, you plug in different names, you can plug in personalized information as well, and it just auto sends text on someone's birthday, or you have your Sunday school attendance, and it's okay, missed, and it auto
yeah, we
sends
use all of those techniques.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. We use all those techniques. Some of them are good, some of them aren't good. But for instance, when I sent those texts, I had our directory, and I was going through our directory, and so it was very easy to click, write a quick message, send, and go to the next person. And so, we definitely use technology to do things and use, yeah. And we have Instagram and Facebook and all those different forms of media so that we can reach everyone.
But you don't have a TikTok page, do you, Abuna?
I do not yet.
Yet? Oh, you're gonna make one?
Um,
right now.
So to be honest, I've set a pretty strict rule for myself in social media use, because I find it to be a big sink of time. So I think that would be a great service project. So if I could find a youth that would dedicate to
Yeah.
running a TikTok page for me, I'd be down to do it, but I'm not going to do it myself.
Well, one thing I think about is like if the church starts going that route, like are we just feeding into the oversaturation, overstimulation, and let's just dumb everything down into like 10-second clips? Like, should the church be like, no, we're not going to engage in TikTok and Instagram? If you really want to understand the gospel, you got to struggle. You got to listen to more than a minute clip.
Yeah, I think there is some truth to what you're saying, but I also think there is truth and value to using. It's a platform, and it can be used effectively, and it can be used for the glory of His name. So, like my news feed on like any of these is probably very different than what the news feed is of like one of our youth. Like mine is like every Orthodox church, and like I see like Coptic spokesperson and all these things. So and it is a great way to see what's going on and to hear and to see. And so I think there is some value. I think a big value to it, actually. I do hear you, though, that we don't need to, like, we don't want to add into the overstimulation and kind of reduce things to like 10-second clips. But maybe that's why I'm not on TikTok yet.
Yeah. And what about like just becoming a personality, right? Do you contend with that? Like just being known generally, just nationally, putting out more content.
So to be honest, I don't because I find social media to be very like toxic. At least that's my experience with it. So I don't I don't do any social media, to be honest. So
someone manages your pages?
Yeah, someone manages and they post and we do.
Okay.
And that way I don't care how many likes it gets. I don't care whatever, someone tells me, oh, this post did well. So I say, thanks. It didn't do well. It doesn't bother me. I find that to be like the best. I don't have to worry about the personality. I don't have to worry about anything. So I kind of shelter myself from that temptation, And actually, I found that like if I was doing it by myself, I was doing a terrible job of it. Like I would never post because I don't know. This isn't my like thing, like it's not my talent. I stink at that stuff, So, to each his own. Let the people who know how to do this stuff do this and get that stuff out. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, it's
Yeah. And I like that it gives people with those talents the opportunity to use them.
Definitely.
I feel like, you kind of mentioned Sunday school a few times. I think a lot of young people think, all right, Sunday school or bust. That's all I can do. But with all this technology and social media and just even doing the mundane things that we were talking about, like the statistics and sending out like mass emails and things like that, that's all like things you would do at work if you had those kind of jobs.
Definitely. No, I definitely think like, in the litany of oblations, we pray for all those who bring their offerings and the wine, the oil, the incense, the altar coverings. Like, I feel like soon we need to adapt this litany to include the IT department, those who brought them. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
Because now the offering in the church isn't the one who brings the altar. The altar covering there every time,
Yeah.
So the oblations now are people are bringing their, their time, their service, through like the streaming services, who's managing the cameras, who's doing, a lot of the behind the scenes work. So there is more to the service than what kind of meets the eye.
And we can see like from other, what's been successful outside the Orthodox Church, right? Like the Catena app is, it's starting and it's growing, but I don't know what it's actually called. I think it's just the Bible app. I mean, that thing's downloaded like.
Oh, I love the YouVersion Bible app. Yeah, and I'm always
It's such a great app.
and I'm always telling. Did I ruin something? I felt like I just knocked something out.
You're great. You're good.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Sorry, what were you saying? Say that again, that last part.
I was talking about the YouVersion Bible app and how that's a really
One more
mainstream.
time. Say that again because I wasn't looking at you. Sorry.
Okay. It's the last time, Buddha.
Yeah.
The YouVersion Bible app was saying that it's so mainstream and accessible, and it's downloaded I don't know how many millions of times. So we can look at things like that and what makes it successful and try to emulate it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Oh yeah. I love YouVersion. I use YouVersion almost on a daily basis. So
what's your favorite translation to use?
So I like to use a few. I like to use obviously New King James, and then NSRV.
NRSV?
NRSV, sorry, NRSV, dyslexia. And then I like the GNTD. That has the Deuterocanon, and that's I think is very useful for some of the difficult passage. That's kind of tends to be more of a paraphrased, on the spectrum of the like direct translation versus like paraphrased in meaning. That one tends to be more on the meaning translation, but sometimes it's nice to hear a verse in what it means, kind of like the Amplified Bible, like where it gives like extra context to the to the verse. So I love using all of them to kind of paint, see what, and then obviously using the original Greek, and there's lots of tools for that. So I think YouVersion's an excellent tool. And I think what's also nice about YouVersion is the Bible plans.
Yeah.
So they have like Bible plans, so it can schedule out your Bible reading for you every day. So I really like that. And Katina also now has that.
I like the search function. I like being able to. Sometimes I'm looking for something. I might know like 3 words of the verse.
Yes.
And I just want to find it.
Yeah.
I wish the same thing applies to like hymns. Sometimes I don't know what the hymn is called, when it's said, but I know like 4 words, and I'm like, come on, what's it called, Coptic Reader? Like, let's get the search function in here.
I think they do have a search function in Coptic Reader, actually.
You must have the beta, the special Abuna premium version or something.
It, but I've seen it. So if you
really,
you swipe like if you're in a prayer and you swipe right, I think you can search.
Like search within a prayer.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about like I don't know what I'm even looking for. I just like a Google kind of thing.
Yeah. Next version.
Yeah, next version. Do you have any other like apps or things that you recommend to people to use?
So let me peruse my phone right here. So big fan of the Coptic Heritage app if you're into hymns, or if you want to learn hymns, there's the Coptic Hymns app. It's by the Heritage of the Coptic Church, and I love that app. I've learned a lot of hymns through the classes. If you open the app at the bottom, there's a spot for classes, and they have like all the seasons of the church. So you can go like Holy Week and click, and you'll see like all the Holy Week hymns, and then you can find like any hymn, and then when you click on it, it's the actual like class. It's like a hand class,
Oh, nice.
So it's like you can just play it while you're driving, and they repeat the same part 10 times till you get it, and then you can move on. So I really like that one for hymns. Let me see what else I have. I have Ancient Faith Radio. So there's a lot of great podcasts on there. I have Upper Room, so a lot of great sermons on Upper Room as well.
Yeah, you have everything I have, Abuna. I don't have the hymns one anymore. I stopped learning hymns a while back.
Yeah, me too. But but it's nice to have if anybody's out there and they want to learn hymns,
Yeah.
they want a
So-
resource for all the hymns of the church. I think that one's a great one to have.
Yeah, someone should create some kind of cool technology for like Hazet. I feel like that's the hardest thing ever. Like if someone could just make something easy for that to
So there's
visualize.
so another app that I have now also is Coptic Hymns in English. They have an app as well, and part of that app is there's it's called CHIE, and that app they actually have like musical notation. So they actually have the hymns with
Hmm.
them. So I think that's like even better than Hazet because like Hazet are so subjective.
They really are.
So like musical notation is the
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know what Hazet are, they're just what basically lines on paper that indicate vowel sounds or something.
yeah.
um, yeah, that's old school. I remember my ma'alim just giving us like his notes, these long pieces of paper, and
Yes.
but his style became my style. So whenever anyone gave me something different, it was like a foreign language. Like I can't use this. Um,
Yeah.